This is Raghu Adibatla, and this is Talking. Hey guys, so this is Raghu Adibala. My show is Talking Funny. I do this every Thursday. Usually I talk to comedians every week, but this week is a bit more special. I have a guest on who's actually one of my really good friends, and I had no idea she had this whole thing going on with vegetarian food. She's really awesome. Her Instagram is like blowing up. She's an expert on vegetarian food. She's traveled the world. Met all kinds of crazy, awesome people. So let's bring her on right now. Her name is Sapna Dalal. Sapna.
Hey, Raghu, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited.
Oh my God. I am so happy to have you. I think this will help a lot of people in many ways. I had no, I was following you on Instagram and I saw that you had a bunch of pictures about food. And I'm like, okay, she's got a lot of pictures about food. It's awesome. Like she's traveled, but I had no idea how much like this was. Like, this is so cool. Like you travel so many places. But before we get into Veg Tourist and how that brand came about, tell us about yourself and your background and how, were you always a vegetarian or, just go back to what kind of led up to this whole journey.
Sure, sounds good. So I have been vegetarian pretty much my whole life. I did eat meat for a little bit in elementary school when that's all that was served and they didn't know what vegetarian was. And then as I got to middle school and learned what meat actually was, that's when I stopped eating it. And also it was around the same time too. My mom was like, we're Hindu, we should be vegetarians. We are vegetarian. And so my mom never cooked meat or anything at home. So and my entire family is vegetarian. So it wasn't really at home that hard. It was more just I had a hard time when we were going out to dinners or I was out with friends. So
you made that adjustment on your own. Like it wasn't like anybody was like, hey, you should be a vegetarian because we all are. You just kind of, transitioned into that.
It was a little bit of both. It's like when I learned what meat actually was and where it came from. But then also I think at the same time my mom was giving a little bit of the push that, our family is vegetarian, we're vegetarian. So
Sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you've been everywhere. So now when did the whole Veg Tourist come about?
So I started a Vegetarian Tourist in 2012. It's actually a blog. And one of my really good friends was starting a blog at the same time, and she actually happened to be my boss. And and she was like, you're such a good writer, Sapna, and you have all these awesome experiences traveling around the world. Like there's something there, just try it. And she's like, just try it for 1 year and just see what happens. Like, you never know, maybe, maybe if you don't like it or you're not up to it or just, you're not feeling it, that's fine. But at least you tried. And so I joked when I started, I'm like, well, who's going to read this besides my mom and my friends? Which was actually true because at the beginning I really think it was only my mom and my friends. But I found a passion that I didn't know I had in writing and photography, and it was just really cool to see that people really enjoyed reading what I had to write about, and just some of my travel adventures or where I found a really great meal in Athens or whatever it was I was writing about. So it was just a fun way to connect with people, but also improve on not only my creativity in terms of writing and photography.
That's so cool. And so you travel, and is your job like consulting where you're able to just kind of be in different places, or is this something you go and you travel on your own?
So I used to actually be in management consulting, and so I
Okay.
traveled a lot for work then,
Sure.
but now I actually work in the not-for-profit sector. And
Okay.
so my job is a little bit more, I would say 9 to 5. So then it allows me the chance to be able to do all these awesome things like outside of what I
Okay.
call my day job.
All right. Have you ever, so you're a nonprofit, do you ever use your talents and what you can see with vegetarian food with the nonprofit? Have you ever, what nonprofit is it, by the way, if you don't mind me?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I work for the American College of Surgeons, and I
Okay.
develop
Okay.
educations for surgeons. So it's
Okay.
really
Okay.
kind of like in the health tech side.
Sure.
So it has been cool seeing like what
Yeah.
I learn in terms of just, I would say, like marketing, PR, social media that I
Sure.
use from Veg Tourists, and then I'm able to bring that back to my day job and use
Okay.
those skills and things there.
So thinking about all the countries you've been to, all the cuisines you've had, do you have a favorite that sticks out that you really enjoy?
That's such a tough question.
I'm sure it is. That's like people asking me, "Do you have a favorite comic?" I'm like, "Oh my
Right.
God!" Like there's so many that I can
Exactly.
name. But how about like your top three? I guess I don't know where you. I mean, what you really love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's probably really cliche to say India because I'm Indian, but
Right.
the food in India is so next level and it's just so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
like there's nothing that compares anywhere else. Like even the Indian
Right.
food we have here in the US is just not as good. I don't know what
Right.
it is about India, like the spices
Yeah.
and everything's like kind of organic, straight from the farm. So that really makes a difference.
This is a good point. People out there who think butter chicken looks like the way it is, and that's what it is. It's not. That's not how it looks. Okay.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
it's so true. So true.
Yeah,
you have
but if I had to
there.
pick some other countries outside of India, I really enjoyed the cuisine in Greece. The food
Okay.
was
All
so
right.
good there, and tons of vegetarian options. Like I never
Yeah.
was hungry, which I'm always like a
Right.
little worried on anytime I go on a trip. I'm like, what am I going to have to eat? So I always pack like a million granola bars
Yeah.
with me, and I always end up bringing all of them back, so,
Right.
which is a
That
good
is.
thing.
Yeah, that is true. Like we travel with families sometimes. Like my parents are both vegetarian. I mean, like we go to some places and my wife's parents are vegetarian. It is hard
Yeah.
to find. Like we were in Turkey one time. Oh my God. That's not the place for vegetarians, but we tried. We tried our best. But yeah, no, that's so cool. Any specific countries that you really enjoyed a lot of time in, or what were some of your favorite places?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one place was Peru. I was a
Okay.
little nervous going there just in terms of like what I was going to find to eat, but there was
Sure.
so many vegetarian options and it was
Yeah.
delicious. And I had a really good time there.
Awesome.
I went to Cuba 2 years ago and I'd heard kind of mixed reviews / not really great reviews about the vegetarian food in Cuba, but I had an awesome experience. I think the key is just to do a little bit of research before you go, just to see like what some of the staple items might be in the cuisine of that country. And then even if you can find like, other reviews of what people said or like some kind of vegetarian restaurants, I think it's helpful to know in advance just so you don't go and then you're stuck at some like, meat place.
Right. Exactly. I was going to ask this later, but this seems a good now because you are traveling, but now we're in this pandemic, crazy thing going on.
Yeah.
What are you doing? How is it going with the whole, your whole brand, and what are you focusing on now? Like how is it affecting you?
Yeah. So I won't lie, like it was definitely pretty tough in March when I was like, I can't eat out and I'm not traveling. So what am I going to do with like my brand and what am I going to share? And so I really pivoted on just sharing very authentically, like just like what I'd been eating at home or, places I wanted to travel to. And now that restrictions have opened up a little bit more, I'm not eating out. And so I've just been doing takeout or delivery at home. So I've been able to like kind of get back into the like restaurant scene and showcase like how other restaurants are pivoting and what they're doing,
Right.
just in terms of like vegetarian food. But for travel, like I definitely am feeling like a little more heartbroken each day when I realize like I don't know when I'm going to get on a plane again.
Right.
So what I've been doing just in terms of travel, and this has been kind of cool, is I've just been exploring like local things that I never had been to the Chicago Botanic Garden before, which is crazy.
Right.
And so I went through this weekend and it was so beautiful and awesome. And I'm totally going to buy a membership now.
That's so cool.
So I will say that like, even with the pandemic and it kind of shutting down like two of my biggest passions, I've been able to find things locally that I maybe wouldn't have before because I was, off gallivanting the world somewhere. So it's been nice to explore my own backyard.
Right, definitely. We have that's one place we really need to go, Botanical Garden.
Yes.
And locally, Chicago. Oh my God. Like there's places everybody hasn't been to food wise. I mean, there's always some hidden gems and I'm glad like a lot of these publications are there. Is there anyone that you follow that tells you where places to go, or how do you get your research from usually?
Well, I see a lot of what people share on Instagram, but then also just from like friends locally. They're like, oh, we're going to the Botanic Gardens this weekend. And I'm like, I've heard about this for so many years and I've just never been. So I'm like, I just got to make like the decision and go. And so I did. And I will tell you, if you are going to go, I would highly recommend going in the next week or two while the fall colors are. It was amazing.
Perfect.
It was so
good for fall colors.
Absolutely.
Good.
It's gorgeous.
We don't have to drive 3 hours to Wisconsin. Is that is my wife listening? We don't have to drive 3 hours.
Yeah, you just have to go 45 minutes north.
Oh, that's good to hear.
You owe me for saving you on that one.
Yes, I do. I'd say Sapna told us that we're going to do that. Okay, so you were on PBS and you were talking about being a social media influencer. I'm gonna quickly put up that clip where they're asking you that. So bear with me just a second. I got it all queued up here. Oh, sorry. 1 second. It was queued up.
It's all good.
Go to. This is what happens right when I'm about to here. It's all good. I memorized the timing, Sapna. I know exactly when you said what.
That's a little scary, actually.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I'm a researcher. Okay, here we go. Let's start from here. Oh, we got an ad. We'll just look at this for a second. You can see it, right?
Nope.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Okay, hold on. I had this all here. Hold on. Oh, you know what it is? Sorry, I got it. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Just wait. Hang tight. Now you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, guys.
Can't hear anything.
All right. You couldn't hear anything?
No.
All right. Well, that's great.
I can tell you what I said.
All right. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't share the screen a lot. So why don't we just actually let's do that. Sapna, just tell us what does it mean to be a social media influencer?
Well, for me, it's really just being authentic to who I am and sharing things that I really love that I found. So for me personally, it's about vegetarian food and travel and anything local to Chicago. And what's been really cool is I've just developed a really engaged audience that really takes my recommendations and things that I say to heart. And also like they notice me when I'm out on the street or in stores and stuff.
Right.
So for me, it's just being able to share, like I said, things that I love. And it's anything from vegetarian products to restaurants, anything travel related, places I've gone, or things that I just see, that are out and about.
Sure. And then also later on, you were talking about how you're invited to restaurants and it makes it a lot easier for the content you produce. How does that happen? That's awesome that you get to just be called for those experiences.
Yeah, it is very awesome. And I'm so incredibly grateful. Basically, restaurants will reach out and say, hey, we'd love for you to try what we have, or we're coming out with the new seasonal menu, or we just developed a vegetarian only menu. Let us know if you're interested. And then, because of COVID now, I'm doing takeout and delivery. So I'm setting up shop at home and trying to plate things and make them look pretty, because it's a little bit different experience than when you're at the restaurant itself. But then this way it gets, my followers to know about like what are great vegetarian options and things that I really liked out of what I tried from there. And then for the restaurant, it's just great exposure to, a very engaged audience that really takes things to heart that I say.
Sure. That's so great. And now when you started and you were, you're putting all this together, did you ever think that it would get up to over 16,000 followers?
No way. I had no idea what I was doing when I started. I just put something out there that was fun. And it's been fun to watch it grow and really, quite honestly, kind of mind-boggling and amazing and everything all at once. And so I think I also started right at when social media was really starting to take off. And so I think I started it at a good time. And so my follower base grew as social media was growing too.
Sure. That's so cool. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. I have 600 followers. I think 200 are my family and friends, and who I don't even know who looks at my thing, but for somebody like me and for people out there who are trying to get their footing, what advice can you give them? And because you're doing something right. You may not, you're doing something right. What did you do to, how often were you putting out content? And, what were you doing to really, get that steam going?
Yeah. There's a couple of things. I would say number one, first and foremost, is to be authentic and be yourself. I think people can see through when you're trying to be fake or you're not confident in who you are and what you're sharing. And so I think just being true to your core and sharing what you're passionate and excited about makes a really big difference, because people can tell when you're not. So find something that you really love, and maybe if you don't find it on the first try, try something else. So I would definitely say, like I said, authenticity, but also persistent, being consistent and persistent. So you can't share something once a month and then expect that people are going to keep coming back or be interested. You have to do it very consistently, I would say almost daily. And, again, sharing what you're excited about.
Sure. No, that's really important. It keeps that, going for you. It's a motivating factor, especially when you're passionate about something. What have you tried are you on other social media platforms as well? Or, because I don't know if do you use Twitter and Facebook a lot for your brand?
Yeah, so I started out using mostly Facebook, and then it was funny because I remember I wasn't really going to sign up for Instagram, because this was back in 2012 when Instagram was really starting to take off. And I remember asking one of my friends, I was like, I don't know, do I need to start an Instagram account? They're like, yeah, I know you should learn how to use it. I'm like, well, I don't really understand. If I post on Facebook, isn't that good enough? And now I laugh about that. So I started my Instagram account a couple years actually after I started the blog. And so that, I think, is what really helped where I definitely have like gained my visibility.
Okay.
So I am on Twitter and on Facebook. I do have a Pinterest account, but I really just like never use that. And then I started a TikTok account, but like I haven't done a whole lot there either. So
yeah, I don't, TikTok is kind of interesting. I know a lot of comics that are on there. I put one video on there like 6 months ago, and it's gotten 7 views since then. So I'm like, I think I'm the 7. I'm just gonna go back in and whoop, there's another count. Okay. But yeah, no, that's true. Some work better than others. It's what fits for you.
Yeah. So, I think it goes back to also like just doing like what you're good at too. So like let's be real, like I'm just not gonna create like that much video content. So like TikTok maybe isn't for me. It could be if I really wanted to get into video content, but I really enjoy taking pictures, and that's what Instagram is suited for. And so
and you're a photographer. You like taking pictures. So
I like taking pictures. What
better,
But I think it's easy sometimes to be like, oh, I have to be like on every single social media platform and like killing it on every single one. But I think that goes back to some of the advice. It's like, don't spread yourself thin trying to like be on every social media platform. Like find the one that works for you and then stick with that.
Exactly. You would rather do that, focus your effort on one, and you're doing it great. You're that's going to keep climbing, I'm sure. And I don't know if I'll be able to help with this, but hopefully we'll see.
I hope you can.
I'll do my best. All right, let's get into, oh my God, like this, you blew me away today when you told me about one of your experiences in France. And wow, I'm going to have you tell that. You met somebody really cool. Like, just go into that. What happened? What were you doing in France?
Well, so it was actually here in Chicago.
Okay.
I met him here in Chicago.
It was here in Chicago. Yes. Okay.
So it was 2 years ago. I got an email from a PR company, and they were inviting me to this very special lunch that was hosted by Barilla, the pasta company. And as I was reading through this email, I like kind of was quickly skimming it. And then I saw the name Roger Federer in there, and I was like, wait, what? And I was like, it can't be the Roger Federer. I'm like, this must be like Roger Federer and somebody like, I don't know who they are, because are they inviting me to lunch with Roger Federer? So I read the email like 15 times, and they were, and I like couldn't write back fast enough to be like, yes, reserve my spot. I'm coming to this lunch. So as it turns out, Roger Federer was going to be here in Chicago for the Labor Cup. He was going to be playing in that tournament, and the tournament was hosted by Barilla, and he, as it turns out, is a Barilla ambassador, which I didn't know. And so there was very select handful of us that got invited to this very special lunch at Spiaggia. And
that's you with him, right?
With me and my new bestie, Roger.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And it was so awesome because they did like a demo of what they were preparing for lunch. And then while that was happening, Roger Federer spoke. And it was so cool and funny that he mentioned, which I didn't know, that he was vegetarian until he was 16 years old. And I think everybody in the room turned and looked at me, and they're like, oh my God, he was vegetarian. And I was like, yeah, I think that makes us like absolutely best friends now, for sure. So now I always refer to him as my bestie, Roger. I don't know if he refers to me that way, but that's how I refer to him.
And what do you guys have in there? What is that?
That was one of the pasta dishes that they had prepared. It was just like a simple pasta with tomato sauce and basil.
Sure. Yeah. And you have, let me go back to the first picture you had here, and maybe you can go through and let me know what's going on in these different pictures.
Yeah, sure.
Here, let's start with this one.
Okay, cool. So this was also another email that I received. I mean, my email inbox is like blows me away every day. I got an invite to go skydiving.
Don't rub it in, okay? I get spam every day.
You'll be there too. You're there.
Email me back like I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was invited by the Golden Knights, which are the elite parachute team of the Army. So they travel all over the world actually and compete in parachute competitions. But then one of the things that they do is they also take basically like presidents and celebrities and just, I don't know how they found me, but other people, like local people. They invite a handful of people to go skydiving each year when they're in Chicago. And when I got this invite, like my jaw dropped because I was like, how on earth did I get invited to this? Like, I don't know, but this is so cool. And this is absolutely a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Oh my God.
Skydiving's never really been on my bucket list. But honestly, I'm like completely freaked out of heights like that. I would much rather sit in first class on a plane rather than jump out of a plane.
Right.
But I also recognize this was like something I think I would regret if I said no, because I don't think this opportunity would come around again.
Right.
So I'm gonna lie, I was kind of like on the fence up until the last minute. And then I was like, all right, you know what? I'm doing this and we'll pray for the best.
Oh my God. How high did you guys jump?
So, and it's interesting, in normal skydiving operations, they take you up to 9,000 feet, but because we were with the Army, they took us up to 13,500.
Wow.
And I won't lie, I was absolutely freaked out of my mind to do this.
That is that the parachute there that came out? Like, is that the string for the? Or
yeah, you can't. I don't think you can see it in that photo, but
okay, all right.
Yeah, so the parachute was already, or no, the parachute hadn't been deployed at this
point.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was basically like hyperventilating right before we jump out of the plane, and my tandem instructor's like, "Okay, breathe in, breathe out." He's like, "It's gonna be okay." He's like, "You're not going to go anywhere without me." He's like, "I'm literally attached to you. So if you fall out of the plane, I'll be with you." And I'm like, "We're going to fall out of the plane?" And he's like, "Oh man, I can't tell this girl anything."
That's crazy. Oh my God. And then that's you and Federer. And what's going on here?
So this was last fall. I was invited to go on a 1-week trip to Puerto Vallarta, which was a all-sponsored trip, and it was amazing. The first night we arrived at the Marriott Puerto Vallarta, they had planned this special dinner, and which, I mean, I've like never experienced anything like this. They had a 7-course vegetarian meal, and they even went as far as like printing my logo from my website on the napkins, and then as you see in the photo, the pastry chef recreated my logo on the dessert plate. So that's mine on the right, and then there's their logo on the left. And I was like, I mean, I really had these moments of like, who am I?
Right, exactly. I mean, come on, like you weren't just invited, they incorporated you into everything.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I do a show, they can't pronounce my name right. Like I just that's so great. I mean, it's so awesome. Wow, cool. Is that so what's on there? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That was many meals ago.
Seems like a strawberry puree with
so many strawberry puree. I honestly don't remember at this moment. Yes, but I will say that meal was extraordinary, and I was just so blown away at how they went so above and beyond to like be creative and think of like how to make everything vegetarian and it was just such a special meal. It was really cool.
So awesome. And all right, what's going on here? So
last summer, about a month before that Puerto Vallarta trip, I went on a very epic trip to France. I spent a week on sailing through the canals of Burgundy, and it was very much focused on food and wine. And then I spent a couple days at the Paris Peninsula, which was like next level luxury and like anywhere I've ever stayed in my entire life. And that whole trip was just, I mean, I don't even know how to put into words. I did put it into words if you want to read my blog, but
sure.
There's lots of pictures and lots of words to describe it, but it was just really one of those moments where I was just so grateful. And almost like the question you asked earlier, like I sometimes have these moments on these trips where I'm like, I can't believe that I'm here because I started a blog and an Instagram account. Like this is amazing and just so cool. And I think, like I said, I keep saying the word grateful, but I truly am like so grateful. I don't take any of these things for granted. And I'm just so honored that like people like what I do and want to work with me and be involved in that. So
because you have a unique thing going. You don't just, you're combining two things, basically, food and travel. And then through these experiences, you're putting yourself out there that people are like, wow, like, who is this? Like, I want to know about her. I want to know about what she knows about where to get the best vegetarian food. I think this is fabulous. I mean, that life worked out for you like that. You wanted to do this and it just kind of handed you more lemons. It was just like, here, like, you're not just going to be invited. You're going to have a trip of a lifetime,
It truly was. And even better, thank you. I got to travel with one of my really close friends who, as it turns out, is also a professional photographer. So that's why I also have these like, amazing photos from this entire trip. And so now I've been completely spoiled. And I'm like, how am I ever going to travel not with a professional photographer?
Oh, poor you.
I know, right?
No, you don't have, oh my God. No.
Yeah, but when I ask random people to take photos and I look at them, I'm like, this is crap. Where is my professional photographer?
Don't ever have me take a picture of it. Like I have an iPhone Pro Max and I can't I use portrait mode all the time for everything.
Okay.
Everything's portrait mode. It just is this Paris?
Yes, more Paris. That was just a photo that I shared. Again, traveling with a professional photographer makes a big difference. So.
Oh my God, yes. Like the placement, everything is so cool. Amazing. And I'm gonna quickly now go to your Instagram so people can hold on one second. Let me just I have it open. Okay, so let me do this. All right, can you see this?
Yes.
All right, guys, this is Sapna Dalal, our Instagram. She's on Veg Tourist. She's Veg Tourist. You can add her. And here's her website, vegetariantourist.com. So you can go there and this link is safe. Sorry, that's my antivirus thing. But I mean, just going through this, I mean, first of all, you take amazing pictures.
Thank you.
And you can tell that you've experienced a lot. I mean, some of these belong in that's like a straight out of a food magazine. Like that is just amazing, and and you've traveled, a lot. I love the colors.
Thank you.
Love the colors, Yeah. And food, that's one of the great things about, especially like food in, different countries, like the colors.
Yes.
Macaroons.
Yep. Those are the best ones I found in Paris from Pierre Hermé.
Wow. Where were you?
So that was a funny post I put up. It was, that post was from Ahmedabad, India, from last year. And, people travel mostly by scooters there. And so the women take their scarves and wrap it around pretty much their entire face and their head so that they can keep the dust out while they're riding on scooters around the city. And so I had gone out with my cousin that day and I was like, oh, you know what? Will you wrap the scarf on my head? Because I've never experienced that before. And so she did that, but I posted that photo back in April during, when we were in lockdown. And I was like, well, this look in that I used to have in Ahmedabad is now actually appropriate here in the US.
Right.
Like now with COVID, we got to cover up everything. So.
No, that's awesome. That's so cool. You put yourself into the culture and, to really experience. But yeah, again, that's Veg. She's Veg Tourist, and that's her. And I love this because this says a lot. Proving veggie finds exist anywhere. You could
Yeah.
help a lot of people who go to places where they think they can't, find vegetarian food, but you've done research. Even you don't even have to visit a country. You could probably know, like, what kind of food that culture has, and this is probably what you want to eat, when you visit countries. And I mean, there's so many opportunities for you to help people in so many different ways with this. I mean,
Yes,
you could go so
absolutely.
many ways, which is great.
Oh,
Which is
thanks.
awesome.
Yeah.
Do you cook? You cook a lot?
I do cook, but maybe not as much as I would like to. Although I
Okay.
will say with
Okay.
COVID that I have been cooking a
Great.
lot more because I'm not eating
Okay.
out. So,
Okay. Are
uh,
you so have you do you explore that a lot? Like, are you interested in cooking like different foods, or is it mostly like going out and experiencing food? Is
for me, it's more about like going out and
Okay.
experiencing and sharing,
Okay.
like the fact that, even 10 years ago, when you would say vegetarian, you would just get like salad or something not
Right.
very creative or
Right.
inventive or even tasty for that matter.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
pretty awesome to see how the whole, I would say, gluten free and vegan movement and
Yeah.
vegetarian have all like kind of helped each other over the last 10
Yeah.
years. And
Yeah.
now you find, restaurants that have separate menus for gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan. So it's just been really awesome to see the evolution of
Right.
these. I don't even call them trends because now they're
Yeah.
diets, right, that people follow. And
Definitely. Yeah.
and especially now the whole like plant-based movement in the
Oh
last
yeah.
even
Oh
couple of
yeah.
years, right? With
Yeah. Yeah.
everything even from like impossible burgers to
Right.
like just people being more aware of what they're putting in their bodies and what they're
Right.
eating, has definitely
Right.
helped like all the vegetarians and vegans out there.
Right. Yeah, and I was gonna say about the whole, thing about vegan food and a lot of people moving towards that. Have you tried any vegan and plant-based when you're in other countries? Is that a thing in other places, or
I mean,
you
it
see?
depends on where you're at. Like, obviously, I would
Right.
say Southeast Asia is the best place for getting like vegan and vegetarian food, but that's not to say
Okay.
that it can't be found other places.
Okay.
I just feel like it's like the easiest in Southeast Asia.
Sure.
And as far as even like some of the plant based or like faux meats, I was really shocked and impressed when I was in Vietnam that they had a lot of like the faux meats made from
Okay.
like tofu or soy. I
Yeah.
personally am not like, I don't need faux meat. Like, that's not really my thing, but I'm always
Okay.
open to like trying it. And so that was really like an interesting find in Vietnam. Also,
Okay.
I didn't know this till I got there, but the Vietnamese, because they're Buddhist, they practice being vegetarian 2 times in the month. And so there was
Oh,
like
okay.
actual vegetarian restaurants more than I expected in Vietnam. And also
Oh,
just like the focus on vegetarian food. So that was like,
wow.
again, it goes back to like, that's just one thing I love about traveling is things that you wouldn't discover,
Yeah.
really know about till you're there.
Right. Right.
And yeah, that was a fun find.
Definitely. We loved traveling, like when we went to different places, and that was one of the things. Was like, and as I said, like, you know, my wife's parents are vegetarian, but even then, like, we kind of at one point when we were in Turkey, we tried a restaurant we really wanted to go to because we wanted to try the meat. They went to another restaurant, so I had shark meat. I had all this stuff that I would never have, and that's the thing. And if you can be open to that, like,
Yeah.
I know that's meat. Sorry, that's not even vegetarian. I don't even know.
I won't be trying shark.
But I've entertained the thought actually of becoming vegetarian. I don't know a lot about, and that's why this is so helpful, like people like me, because I don't know. Like, I've been eating meat so long that if I wanted to go to vegetarian, what am I going to eat? But
Yeah.
now, blogs like yours, your pages help people like who want to turn, vegetarian. So
Yeah.
what is it? I know you don't have this experience because like a lot of people, they've eaten meat for a long time. They want to switch to veg. What are some things that, like some really good dishes that you could think of that they could try that would be like you know, so it's not like, oh no, try a salad or something. Something,
Right.
you know, what are some of your maybe your favorite dishes, or what can they have that they'll be like, awesome, like I could do this. What are
That's an interesting question. So my thing too is like I never try to like push people to be vegetarian.
right?
I'm just like, hey, if you want to try this, like this is vegetarian, or if
Oh
you're
yeah,
about
I don't
it.
I don't mean like pushing them. I just
No,
mean
no,
like
no,
if they you know, they want to become,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I
Right.
definitely. I just wanted to make that point though, because like
Oh, sure.
people take it very seriously and do completely push and promote that, and I'm like,
Right.
but as
Right.
far as like plant-based and vegetarian items, I will say I'm just impressed with seeing what restaurants are trying to do to come up with more options. And
Okay.
here's just an example. There's a place called 80 Proof in Old Town, and it's definitely much more of like a bar restaurant, right? It's not like something I would really think like maybe think twice about even. But they
Right.
have come out with an entire vegan menu, and I just tried it out like a couple weeks ago, and I was blown away because it wasn't just like your typical like salad and pasta dishes. Like they really
Sure.
put thought into it. So for example, they had a vegetarian or a vegan banh mi that had like they were like deep fried oyster mushrooms, I believe, and then
Wow.
it's just
That
like
sounds so good.
yeah, it was so good, and I was just really
Yeah.
impressed with it. And then they
Yeah.
had like they had a vegan mac and cheese, and
Right.
like I don't know, just they had like a vegan like burrito. They had a
That's
spicy
cool.
soy chorizo, and then like black beans and Mexican rice, and
That's
it
awesome. It's
it was
called 80 proof.
80 proof, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it just goes to show that people, restaurants are really catering to what people want, and more people are definitely trying, even if they don't go fully plant-based, maybe to have it like once a week, or like just
Okay.
put more effort into eating a little bit less meat than they normally
Okay.
would. And so I'm definitely like reaping the rewards of seeing like restaurants move towards that and incorporate those into their menus.
That's so great. That's so great. That's exactly, yes, that's what I was trying to get at when I said like, yeah, when people want to, because like, you know, that's what people's first thought is when they want to, you know, try vegetarian. It's like, what am I going to eat? Like, is it, you know, I want something that's comparable to what I'm having. It's got to be filling. But like you said, restaurants like 80 proof, they're trying to go towards that whole, you know, you don't have to give up like a lot of fullness. You can still be have foods that are more vegan based, but you know, and that's so great. So it's called 80 proof. That's awesome.
In Old Town, yes. And they really did a good job too of trying to like mimic you know, like meat, like regular meat dishes. For example, they had a Nashville hot cauliflower. So they took cauliflower and put it in like that Nashville rub, I guess, and then they served it with like the pickles on top and then a vegan ranch. And I have to tell you, it was an awesome dish. And I'm like, I have no idea if this is comparable to what like Nashville chicken tastes like, but I've heard from other people that do eat meat that have tried that dish and they said it was amazing. So it's cool to see restaurants like be creative and come up with ideas like that.
That's awesome. I have a strange question. And I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Would you consider an egg vegetarian or not?
That's a good one. So I personally only eat egg whites like here and there, like very, very limited. The only eggs I do eat is like whatever's in baked goods.
Oh, okay.
I do love cupcakes and cakes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of people have very personal decisions about whether eggs are vegetarian or not. And so, like I said, I don't tend to eat them just because I don't like the taste per se. But when they're in things, I'm kind of like, well, it doesn't bother me.
Oh man, I don't like the taste of eggs, but since we came back from New Orleans, we went to New Orleans. Oh my God, the food! But then that's not vegetarian. That's
but still, New Orleans does have some good veggie stuff.
Definitely. But we got some seasoning from there, and works great on eggs. Oh my God, it's absolutely But yeah, eggs are a little tricky. I know a lot of Indians, especially. There's a
Especially,
lot
yes.
who don't eat egg, and but then now they have baked goods with eggless. I don't know how they do
Yeah.
that.
I will tell you this. This is one thing that I did kind of perfect over quarantine was
Yeah.
making vegan zucchini bread. And
Okay.
so what they use, well, one option, there's several options out there, but one is they call it a flax egg. So you take
Okay.
flax seed and you grind it up. So you take 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water, and
Okay.
you mix it up, and then you actually refrigerate it for 15 minutes. And then when you take it out, it actually becomes like the consistency of an egg. It is so crazy.
Wow.
I have no idea who even like thought to do that and then figured it out that it works. But it worked.
Well, we got all these flax seeds. What are we gonna do with it, guys?
Totally.
I don't know. Let's mix it up. Oh my God, this tastes like an egg. I don't know. I'm thinking that.
Well, I don't know if it tastes like it, but the consistency is like it. So when you
like it, okay.
Yeah, so when you bake with it, it actually works as a substitute for eggs, which is crazy. But it's awesome because, like I said, well, like in my family, especially, like a lot of people don't eat eggs. So, like my parents or my aunts and uncles and stuff, and so we like perfected the zucchini bread. So now we always take it to like family gatherings because we know that everyone can eat it and no one has to worry.
Right. That's so cool. That's so awesome. And yeah, that's the thing with you can make things to make it like what you can't have, and the beauty about food. What are your future goals? What do you want to once hopefully all this is over at some point? And do you have any big aspirations, like writing a book or doing like a TV show sometime, or like the travel?
All of those sound awesome. I'm like, yes.
Hey, if you thought that you would never get this many followers, I mean, that's a lot. You're on your way. I think you could definitely think about, I mean, well, here's the thing, like people have already invited you to so many things. I think that's going to keep going at some point. This pandemic is here now. That's why I think it's slowed down, but at some point, once it picks up, I could see that. I mean, we watch a lot of those travel channels, like the food stuff. Do you watch any like Master Chef or any of those food channels? What are some that you follow?
So I love Top Chef. I think I've watched every season since season 1.
Oh, cool.
And the irony is that it's like 95% meat that they make on this show.
Yeah.
I get so excited. Like on the last season, they had a vegetarian challenge, and I was like glued to my TV the whole time. So I do watch like Top Chef, and I actually just started last night the show The Amazing Race. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that, but it's like a scavenger hunt around the world, basically.
I used to work for this law firm, and one of the attorneys was on it.
That's so cool.
Like a while, and that's why he was gone. We didn't know like what happened.
Yeah.
But
So I even shared on my Instagram story last night. I'm like, well, since I'm not traveling internationally anytime soon, The Amazing Race is going to have to suffice for now. And fill my wanderlust since I'm sitting in Chicago. I do love those shows, and I enjoyed watching, like, obviously Anthony Bourdain and just any shows that would have food and travel, even if they're like obviously not vegetarian, which I don't think there is anyone out there. It's just cool because you learn about the culture, what's important in the culture, like, why some of the foods are important and what they mean, because there's like a nostalgia that's attached with cuisine for people around the world. And
definitely.
I think that's what makes it so special. And so that's why I love traveling, because you get to learn about that, the, culture and the people and the food and just everything.
Yeah, definitely. We watched a lot of Andrew Zimmerman.
Yes.
Because I go to all the countries where I know the most bizarre food is. I always just go to those countries.
Yeah. See, I kind of stay away from those because I'm like, I don't know what this is and I'm not going to eat it.
Like it's pretty interesting, but I think the key thing is wherever, people just love their food. They
Yes.
own it. They're proud of it. And like I said, you need to be open-minded to really be out there and doing, even with vegetarian food, there might not, there's stuff out there that you'll think, oh my God, like I would never try that, but
Right.
you might like it, even with vegetarian.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so do you have any favorite chefs that, or do you follow anybody or no?
Yeah, of course. Right now, I'm completely blanking.
Okay, that's fine.
um,
Yeah, that's probably a tough question,
it
but
is,
I was just
but
wondering.
some of my people always ask me like, "What are your favorite restaurants here in
Oh
Chicago?"
yeah,
And
there you go. Yes, please do. Tell
I
us
actually
about
still don't even know the answer to that because
it.
there's so many. But one that I
I know
always
that's
say
true. That's
is
true.
Tanta, which is a Peruvian restaurant.
Okay.
In River
Wait,
North.
what's it called?
Tanta.
Tanta. Yes. Wait,
Yeah.
I think we've been there. Is there another location?
Yeah.
Or is it just in Chicago?
Well, actually, I take that back. I don't know if it goes by the name Tanta, but they have.
Okay.
It's from a chef, very famous chef in Peru.
Okay.
He's really well known in South Africa. His name is, or South America. His name is Gaston Acurio, and he
Okay.
has built restaurants like all over the world, and they're continuing to expand everywhere. But they're really well known in like Lima, and they have obviously here in Chicago. I believe there's one in Miami, maybe, or LA. Like, I don't remember. I've only been to the Chicago location. So,
Okay. Do they? Because I know we went to a Peru restaurant, but it had like a fusion of Japanese. Was that this or what?
well,
Just curious.
so it's interesting because the Peruvians have a lot of Japanese and Chinese influence in their
Oh,
food,
okay.
which I learned when I went to Peru. I didn't know any of this until we started eating the cuisines and we learned about like the culture and just those influences that have impacted their food. And so I bet you were at Tanta.
Yes.
And
We were there. I just went to the website and I saw the wall hangings like
yes,
I'm like, yes, we went there. It's really good.
it's really good. I
Yeah.
love their rooftop. They have a great rooftop. They have awesome drinks. And I became really good friends with the chef. And it was just really awesome to see him not only be like just his passion for the food, but then also he really wanted to like come up with like more vegetarian and vegan items that, he could serve to the customers because they already had, several things on the menu. But I just love when chefs really like take, quote unquote, that challenge to like level up what they're offering.
Right, right. And that's so interesting. I didn't know that Peruvian food is normally kind of a Japanese influence because when we first went there, I thought this particular one was like that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. So that's great. Any you think you want to write a book sometime about your travels? I think you could. I think
well, thank you. I think that's what like the blog has been for me, is just a way to like, I would say, quote unquote, like keep a journal about, what I've been doing. I won't lie, I've been a little lax on writing lately and I would like to get back into it. And it's really funny when this was maybe last year, my dad was like, "So how long have you had vegetarian tourists now?" And at that time it was 7 years. And he was like, "Maybe for the 10-year anniversary, you could come out with a book that's like the vegetarian tourist, compilation or something, I don't know." He came up with some great word. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. He's like, yeah, you should totally do it.
I think it is a great idea. And what you have going on here, as I said, like you have opened up yourself to a lot of opportunities. Like you could help a lot of people, especially with knowing what types of vegetarian food you would want to eat when you turn from meat, and where you can go, like countries, they all have vegetarian food. That's such a strong point that you brought up, that every country or wherever you go travel, You'll find it.
You'll find it. You might have to look a little harder in some places, but it's there.
Yeah, definitely. Like turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. But yeah, I've actually wanted to become vegetarian. It's just making that jump. Like I just need to. Right now, I'm like, I gotta have meat, but I think overall. So would you say? I think it seems like I think one of the things is people feel like they need protein and they get protein from beef and chicken, but you can get an ample of protein eating vegetarian food.
Absolutely.
You don't have to starve. You're not. there's just so much out there, which is good. So you're a vegetarian. You try everything. You're not vegan or you're just vegetarian.
I'm vegetarian, so I always tell people I'm like I love cheese too much.
Okay.
Especially pizza. I was like, because of pizza and cupcakes, like I just can't be vegan. I tried being vegan once for like I think I lasted like 6 weeks, and I will say I probably felt and looked the best I ever did at that time. There's something to be said for it, but I think it just goes back to the whole concept of moderation, right? Like I don't think you have to like absolutely kill yourself to follow like one diet or another, but I think doing anything in moderation is the best way to go. So if you can be like mostly plant-based, but then if you want to eat chicken or beef or whatever it may be, like that's great, do that. But I think, as people are starting to focus more on their health, they're realizing that there's something to be said about eating more just like fruits and veggies. But I think that's just what it boils down to.
That's awesome. What are your family, like your parents, what are they think about Veg Tourist, and what are their opinions, or what are their thoughts?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they love it because they're vegetarian. So.
Right. Well, I think in the beginning they were kind of like, what are you doing? Like, what is all this? Probably like typical Indian parents, like stop wasting your time.
Yeah. I hope this is just a hobby.
Right.
Always,
but I think they now they understand and see not only like just the joy that it brings me to like just be able to share things, but also they've definitely had the chance to reap some of the rewards as well. So they've come to dinner.
Were any of your family with you, like when you were for any kind of experience that you've had?
Yeah, so actually my parents got to come with me to Mexico last year. On that 1 week trip, and they were I one in Puerto Vallarta, yes, and they were blown away, as was I, because I didn't really know like what was in store for us, and my parents were just like, "Wow, this is amazing," and it was really cool. They were just really like, "We're really proud of you." Like we didn't really fully understand like what this was, and so. It was really awesome, and it was such a special trip because that's something we'll never forget, like for our entire lives. Just how much fun we had and the experiences we got to have together. We definitely would not have done that kind of trip if it was on our own,
Right.
And
definitely.
We basically just showed up and we were treated like royalty and got to have the best experiences with food.
So great. Your what was your very first encounter, like when somebody emailed you or contacted you? How did that come about?
So that's a really good question, and a lot of people have asked me that. I will say that I actually remember exactly. It was winter of 2014, so like January of 2014, and I had just joined this group called the Chicago Food Bloggers, which basically at that time it was just like a directory of all the food blogs in Chicago. And I had received an email saying that, hey, everybody in this group that's a Chicago food blogger, we have an opportunity to give away 10 spots to come to this preview event for the Chicago Auto Show. And if you are able to make it to this preview event, you will get 2 tickets to, they call it the First Look for Charity, which is the like big black tie gala for the auto show. And I had heard of that gala before and always wanted to go, but the tickets are like, I think $250 a piece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was going to get a pair of tickets to go to this thing. And so I went to the media preview and then had the chance to go to that black tie gala. And that was truly like my very first experience, like out
That's
in the
awesome.
world as a veg tourist. And it was so cool. And it was just really special to me because it was like something I'd always wanted to do. And here I got to go because I had this blog. Like,
right,
so
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. And that kind of like kick-started everything for you. That's so cool. Oh my God. Well, thank you, Sapna, for being on. This has been absolutely wonderful. We learned so much about you, about your experiences, and and your Instagram is just blowing up, which is great.
Thank you.
I know you don't feel the same way, but we do. People are looking. All they need to do is hit that follow button. That's it. We're at Veg Tourist. This is Sapna Dalal. It's at Veg Tourist, and you can go on her page. She's got her website, all the pictures. They're beautiful pictures. And people can contact you through that with any questions or whatever, or can we be your best friend? Can you hook us up on the next experience and
absolutely
follow you around? That's it. Think of us people, Sapna. Your next experience, remember, goes to me and my wife and everybody first. So
you're first in line, Raghu.
Keep that in mind.
I will not forget. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It was such an honor. It was really fun.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you have fun, and you take care. We're gonna keep following you.
Yes, please do. See you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye. That was Sapna Dalal, you guys. Veg Tourist. That's her handle on Instagram. Absolutely amazing. My God, like the experiences that she's had. And now I think this is very informative, especially if you are a vegetarian and if you are thinking about being vegetarian, you have so many options. Go on her page. She's visited many countries, and you can bring that culture home. Try to make those dishes. They got, she's got a lot to offer. I'm gonna put her website and everything again when I post after this episode. Next week, Talking Funny, I'm taking a break. But if you are a comic or you want to share your life and what you do, and you have some cool brand you wanna tell people about, let me know. I'm at RRA Comic. You see that right here at RRA Comic. That's my Instagram and my Twitter, so you can follow me. And then right here, my name, Raghuwadi Batla. You can follow me on Facebook. This has been Talking Funny. I do this every Thursday. You guys have a great night. Take care, guys. See ya.